guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to another Premier Division review show, another packed weekend of football. We started off on Friday night where we had two games. We started off at Richmond Park where I finished St. Patricks League 2, Waterford FC 1. Matty Smith, Melvin Lampert, Smith's 8th goal of the season, by the way, and junior for Waterford. Before we start off, Cian, there was a bad incident, obviously, with Lee Desmond. Now, thank God he's okay. Do you want to say anything on that, basically?
Yeah, it was just, puts everything into perspective, to be honest with you. Like, I left Richmond Park feeling sick, and that's the truth. Like, being honest with you, I couldn't have given a shit when the ref played the whistle again, and if Waterford scored, and if Waterford even won the game, it wouldn't have bothered me in the slightest. It was an awful thing, but look, he's had to be discharged from hospital, he's on the mend, and look, we look forward to seeing him back on the pitch when he can be.
I spoke about it on the matchday vlog, so I won't go too much into it, but I'm delighted that he's doing better and he's discharged. The game itself, Cian, before that, obviously, how did you see it overall?
Yeah, it was a poor game. It was probably one of the worst games this season, I think, in terms of a Pat's game. I'm not saying Pat were bad or Waterford were bad. I think there was a lot of cancelling out. I was looking at a game of chess at times in the game. I thought Waterford were dangerous on the counter. They wanted to sit in, and they were always a decent ball away from opening us up. I think
Junior looks very dangerous.
I think once or twice, the line-up put his flag up, and we kind of, an inch or two either side, and we could have been in trouble. But I thought Pat's dealt with it well. Getting the goal, we scored at the right time. There was no one. We weren't really bossing the game. Nobody was really bossing the game. If anyone was looking like they were going to score early on, it was Waterford on the counter. And that's because Pats were playing football and Waterford decided to sit in deep. But, we got to go. Little bit of luck about how the ball ended up at Matty, but, it came across. He struck a first time. What a finish. He's going to be a big loss now. Hopefully, he'll be back now soon enough for us. Seeing him limping off there wasn't a good sign, but in the second half, then we came out of the blocks, and in fairness to us, we really done well up until we got the goal. We scored again, like every game nearly this season. I always say when I'm on, we're scoring at the right times. We're scoring in games, that we're not necessarily playing with. Like Dundalk last week, we weren't necessarily playing well. We went in 2-1 up. We scored at the right time. The same again in this, we got that second goal and we needed it. I did think the game was dead and buried then. I did think we'd hold out. Waterford then really started putting the pressure on. Pats kind of sat off a little bit. And look, I'm not going to be too critical of them because, we really did limit Waterford to chances. Like, they were never, like, we weren't standing there saying, Jesus, these are battering us or anything like that. Pats were fairly comfortable in defence all through the game, but penalty goes in, all of a sudden it's a different game. You're clinging on for dear life.
Any issue with the penalty?
No, I think it was. I would have given a penalty now if it was me. It was, we sat off then. You can understand Waterford are a decent side now with the new players, so we stood off. We gave them the respect they deserved, and I don't think we gave them too much. Now I think we got it perfect. We got the game plan spot on. It's easy for me to say that when we win. But I do genuinely think we got a spot on the way we went to hold them. Holding up at their life, it was balls into the box being pumped in, and that's how the injury happened, of course, right at the end. But, we defended everything, we dealt with everything we had to deal with. There was probably one or two shaky moments, which you get in every game. But apart from that, I thought Pats were good, and, we didn't play well and we won. It's always a good sign. And like I said, we're scoring at the right times in games, and we're scoring a few goals now. I think we're the highest goal scorers in the league now. So, I couldn't tell you the last time that was that stat came for a Pats fan. But I'm delighted to hear that. And we're not shipping a lot of goals the other end. So, I think Pats were starting to peak at the right time. And I do think we're second now, and I'd like to think we're going to stay there. And if we can push Rovers and a little run the cup, that'll do me.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I agree with all that as well. I would say as well in the second half, I think Pat's biggest threat was probably Dar Burns actually in the right wing. Whenever he got forward, I thought he did well in the right, got some good crosses into the box. He would have seen it better from where you were sitting, but probably didn't capitalise, but he did well, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's a breath of fresh air to the league. It's just such a player that just gets you off your seat. Like, he wants to drive at them. He doesn't care about stats. He doesn't care about how many passes you make successful. He wants to make that dangerous pass. He wants to make that pass where you have a 20% chance of getting the ball. He excites you. He gets you off. He beats players. And look, players like that in the league are very hard to come by. And I think, like this season, yeah, he's made a name for himself. But I think next season he could possibly be the player of the season. And that's how highly I rate this fella. And Ben McCormick is just the same for me. Look, Mounty's gone. Benson is gone. We're going to be relying on these two now for the season. Ben McCormick is just as good as Robbie Benson at the minute, the way he's playing, and I don't think anyone would disagree with me. And look, Sam Bowen's filling in now at right full for the rest of the season by the looks of it. And look, he done a great job the other day. People have given him a bit of stick, and I get that, but I'll be honest, and anyone that watches Sam Bowen play, Philip, you would have seen him a few times for Rovers and stuff in Waterford. He tries so hard. I've never seen a player try as hard in a short in my life. So, that's all you can ask for, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Philip, how do you see Pats at the moment from a Shamrock Rovers perspective, I suppose?
Well, look, Keith, I suppose we kind of had this conversation today. I think I'm a bit more concerned for Pats at the moment than maybe Keith's coming across. I just think the injuries in the wrong positions at the wrong time of the season, in my opinion. Look, I thought there was without being too fortunate, I thought there was a small bit of fortune in the game for Pats the other night with the result, because as Keano said, Waterford really pushed in the last few minutes, and I thought maybe they might have nicked the draw, but that's credit to Pats in terms of how they've defended this season. They've been pretty decent, a couple of mistakes, but nothing major in terms of any defensive calamities, and I think that's a good thing. But as I said, I'm more concerned now about the injuries that they've got now rather than maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it just seems to be that the squad seems to be thinning out as the days go by, and that's not something you want when it comes to trying to challenge for Europe and trying to challenge for a league, But look, I suppose the other side to it is, Keano, is to Keith, sorry, is that the players that Pats are bringing in to replace these lads that are injured, as Keano said, they're doing a job. Do you know what I mean? And like, no one else needs to. No one in this call needs to talk about Sam Bowen. Everyone in the league across the country knows what sort of player Sam Bowen is and how good he is, and the fact he will play anywhere for you. Do you know what I mean? And it's players like that are really hard to come by in this league. And the fact that Pats have one, and maybe you could argue the case for 2 others, but I think that's kind of standing to them now. But saying that, I'm just slightly concerned, and I maybe we'll see this bit of form start to kind of tindle out slowly but surely over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully for you lads it's not, but I just can't see how they can keep up this momentum with so many players just dropping,
I'm just laughing because I'm thinking you're probably hoping as well, Philip. Finished Longford 0, Finn Harps 3 at the City Collins Stadium. And look, it was a massive win for Harps after a bad run. That's 2 wins in a row now. Longford now look like, I'm not saying they're giving up as such. It's not a deliberate thing, but in the back of their minds, they must be thinking, look, this is going to be very difficult. Big win for Harps, so with Waterford losing as well, Cian.
Yeah, look, I didn't know the result of this game last night. I didn't see it at all, so I was looking at it this morning and I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. Now, I'll be saying a little bit now on Longford's side here to say 3-0 kind of flattered them a little bit. I don't think it was a 3-0 game, but Longford done nothing to win the game or to even score a goal. To be honest, I don't think they done enough. And people, these are the games you have to win if you want to stay up. These are the games you need to win to close the gap. You look at Waterford now, I don't think they're going to be in any problems. So you'd be looking to try and finish 11th and, finish 9th and give yourself a chance to stay up at least through a playoff. But
14 points between that and 9th, it's too much, isn't it?
It is for me now, but, it's just, I'd be frustrated if I was a Longford fan, not only because of this, it's, Shamrock Rovers, the 3 games against Rovers, how good they played in the games, how defensively solid they were, to shipping 3 goals against the Finn Harp side. I know they beat Sligo and stuff like that, but Finn Harp side that's way out of form, that's not scoring a lot of goals. So I don't know. Look at it, like we see it all over the league. It's easier to get up for a European game or to get up for if you're playing a big team. We see it all the time. It's easy to rise to the occasion and play. And I think, you're going back to teams that struggled. Derry have probably struggled at that, playing the lower side of the team. Pats in recent years would be the same. But, I just think they kind of took their eye off the ball in this one. And before they knew it, they were behind in the game. And, it was never... I never thought you were going to win at the minute Finn Harp scored the first goal. I thought that was Courtney's because, Dean Williams, he's a good striker, in fairness to him. But, he's probably getting 2 chances where at Rovers he was probably getting 3 or 4 in a game. And, that makes all the difference. So, it's good experience for the lads and Nugent as well. But, I think it's too much too soon now. But, Finn Harp, that's 2-2 now for them. So that they needed their 6 points big time. So, they'd be delighted with that.
Yeah, Philip, with the resurgence of Waterford, the last 6 points have been critical for Finn Harps, haven't they?
Big time. And I suppose, the thing that I kind of have to give credit to Harps is the way they went about this performance. When I was looking back on it, I knew the score, but when I was looking back on it, I was kind of looking, because I knew the score, I was kind of looking to see how they defended. Now, let's be honest, Longford didn't really offer much, do you know what I mean? And the chances that they did offer were half chances, if you want to put it that way. And I know Keno said that the result may have flattered them a bit, but I thought they were full value for it, to be honest with you. And I think that if they can keep going and keep getting results against the likes of Sligo, Sligo are out of form as well. But if they can keep going and getting results like this and pushing on, and the main thing I think that Finn Harps need to focus on for the rest of the season is keeping clean sheets.
Big thing, Philip, is the fact that McElhenney, Webster and Siddiqui are back in the team. They've suffered a lot of injuries this season, the last number of weeks. So them coming back into the team clearly makes them more solid, doesn't it?
Yeah, and look, the other side to it is, Keith, when players are injured and they're coming back into a squad, sometimes that might not tend to change anything because, at the end of the day, it's something that happens a lot where players come back in from an injury, but results don't change. Do you know what I mean? And I think Finn Harps have obviously not let that happen, and the players coming back have made the difference. And I think now, towards the end of the season, as it says, if they can keep their players fit and keep clean sheets, there's no reason why they can't maybe Hull a Drogheda into a scrap. I don't think Waterford are going to be there. We'll talk about Drogheda later, but I just think that they may be able to get 1 or 2 into a bit of a scrap towards the end of the season. Whether they'll do enough to stay out of the playoff, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at the minute, but anything can happen in this league, Keith. We've wrote teams off before and they've came back and they've done it, and I suppose that's the reason why we love this league.
Absolutely. Finished Bohemians 1, Sligo Rovers 0 at Dalymount Park. Buckley with the goal, and I was at United Park with Philip just to get it in there, and we seen Buckley got the goal, and I said it was probably from outside the box. Well, it was from outside the box, Philip, if you didn't see it. Massive win, Cian, for Bohemians. They're dragging Sligo. They're 4 points behind Sligo now in the league in that chase for third place. Sligo on terrible form. They can't even... That's 6 defeats in a row, basically, in all competitions. But this was a huge win for Bohemians, and a result they might look at the end of the season as being a critical result if they finish third.
Yeah, it was, this is after blowing the European race wide open again. And this can only be good for the league. I'm only saying that because Pats are second at the minute. But, it's good to see the gap being closed a little bit. We got on to Dundalk now, but they'd be kicking themselves now because, that they could have had an extra 3 points on Sligo. But, you're looking at the game, and they're the team that's going to be fuming here, Sligo. 6 games in a row. You just it's tough. That's a really, really, this league, they feel like, if they put any amount of money on the pitch to buy a win, they won't. They were awful today. I really thought they were awful. They were resorting to long balls up to Romeo, and that's eat and drink for Finnerty and, you know, Rory Feely, who'll just head them away all day. You know, that's what they want as a centre half. They want the balls coming in wide so they can head them away. So they kind of played into Bowes' hands a little bit. But, you know, Bowes got the goal just after half time there. And, you know, the game was cagey, it was scrappy. I thought it was going to be a draw now after the first, I'd say, 40 minutes up to half time. I was saying, yeah, probably a draw will be all right here. And I think Sligo would have took that any day, so they're not losing any advantage. But, you know, they're really dropping here. The good thing I would say for Sligo is that they're out of the cup at the minute. So, you know, they know their fixture list. They know they only have league games to go, and they can start putting the results on the table, getting the wins and getting themselves in Europe, because, you know, 6 weeks ago they were favourites probably for the title because Rovers were going through a little patch, and Pats were out of the title race. Pats were gone. So, you know,
never my favourites, so lad.
Yeah, but you know, it just shows you. It just shows you how things change and how teams go through these blips. You know, some teams come out of them better than others. Some teams come out of them with a draw or a win. But, you know, Sligo are just miles off at the minute.
Is the confidence at this stage now, Cian, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Look, the league is tough. Every game they're coming up against is tough. And every game the pressure is building and building to get that win. And, you know, it's been a long time since Liam has lost 6 in the trot. Last time I can remember was probably in around 2018, 2017 with Pats. He went through a little blip where we lost 8 in a row or something like that.
But of course it was with Pats. Of course it was with Pats.
Yeah, you know, that's the last time. You know, even how bad they were. Probably this 4th season there, they never went through a big patch like that, you know. But if there's any man to get them out of it, it's going to be Liam Buckley. So, you know, that from where they were when he took them over to where they are now, back up, at least competing. I know these last 6 games they haven't, but, you know, I think any Sligo fan would have bit your hand off for a top half finish. Never mind, you know, where they are now. So they should be happy with themselves, but obviously the performances and the results need to be addressed. But look, Bowes don't care about all that. Bowes will be delighted. It's 3 points. It wasn't the greatest performance, but 3 points is 3 points, and you know they're really on course now to push Sligo all the way.
Phil, that's frustrating actually from a Sligo point of view. The fact that, as Cian says, it wasn't the greatest performance from Bowes, but was still good enough to beat Sligo. The fact that Bowes had a big game in Greece, which would have taken a bit out of them as well, let's be honest, on Thursday, and Sligo still couldn't take advantage at all in this match. That's disappointing from their point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. And look, I suppose, like, let's be honest, Bowes weren't focusing on this game at the start of this week. It was all about Pelk, and Sligo obviously all week have been thinking Bowes all week, you know, and the fact that you're able to focus on the game for a whole week and still not get a result out of it, that would drive anyone up the walls. And
when you're in third in the league as well, like, that's the big thing.
Exactly,
you're not near the bottom of the league, like,
This was a 6-pointer for them. Do you know what I mean? That's how big this game was in their season, you know. And I just think that the way things are going at the minute, if this keeps up, they'll be out of Europe before they know it. You know what I mean? And they're out of the cup. So, like, we're talking about today, Keith, again, Sligo fans thinking that they're going to win the compete for the league. Like, this is a tough division. Like, people need to remember this. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. And at the minute, Sligo can't seem to beat anyone. So that's kind of saying a lot for where they're going and how their form has been. So I am slightly worried for them. But at the same time, I think you create your own luck in this sort of division. And they haven't done it anywhere near enough to beat anyone in the past month or so. And it's shown in the results. So, but Bowes, look, as much as I hate to say it, I think it's good that they're back in the race for Europe. General consensus of the league, it does everyone good because it just brings a bit more excitement into what's happening and what's going on and who's where in the division. And I think the longer that goes on towards the end of the season, the better, obviously, you know. And as Keno said about Dundalk, they'll be absolutely kicking themselves. There's no question about it, because the amount of points that they've dropped to teams that are like completely they'd expect to be on any other season is ridiculous, and they could be right in there as well, but they obviously haven't been good enough. So Sligo will need to address it, Keith, but I think they're in big trouble at the minute.
Yeah, so finished obviously onto that. Derry City 1, Dundalk 0. McGonigal penalty with the winner there. Just to talk about Dundalk first, and I'm just going to throw it out there. They're 2 points ahead of ninth in the league, Ian. At this stage of the season, even, it's hard to comprehend that, really. I know they've 2 games in hand, but still, as we speak, points-wise, they're down near the bottom of the table.
Yeah, look, it's hard to realise. I looked at the table and I didn't realise, to be honest, that it was actually so close for them. I don't think they'll be there. I don't have any worries at all. Thursday took an awful lot out of them. You know, they'd be kicking themselves if they didn't get out of that game, even the extra time. So, you know, they'd be devastated, but, you know, they can't feel sorry for themselves, not in this league. So they would have had to go out and put performance in, and I believe they did. I didn't see the game because we're only recording this now, and there's no chance I was able to watch them all. I seen the Bows game live, and then I watched.
We're good, but we're not that good.
But you know, I didn't really see too much of the game, but they'd be disappointed. You know, Derry are fighting for Europe now as well as Dundalk. Like I know they're 2 points off ninth, but I'd still call them fighting for Europe. I wouldn't say they're fighting to stay up or anything like it. So it'll be it's a big 3 points lost, and even if they got a point, at least Derry didn't get anything on them. So you know, that's the only side of it. And teams are good at that. I think, you know, Derry are good at not playing well and even getting a draw. Or Derry, you know, when we look at teams like that, I think Derry are good at that at the minute. And I think Pats are probably the only other team at the minute, Derry and Pats, that are kind of, when they're not playing well, I'm Rovers, sorry. When they're not playing well, you know, they're picking up points and they're getting wins, and, you know, they're turning draws into wins and losses into draws. So, you know, you'd be disappointed if you were Dundalk, I think, and anyway.
I mean, Philip, Derry are actually 4 points behind Sligo themselves. Now, they have played 2 extra games, so there's a chance that Bows and Sligo will pick up some extra points on them. But having said that, they've done very well to push themselves up into that position now at this stage, haven't they?
Well, throw back to the start of the season, Keith, we were all looking at them going down, possibly. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it was. It's like, fair enough, you might think they might have been all right, but the way I looked at them at the start of the season, I didn't see them finishing anywhere near where they are now. Even at this stage of the season, I wouldn't have thought they would have been there at the end of the league, if you know what I'm going at. But like, I just have to say, Keith, as well, I think that they've really done well to turn their home form around. I don't know if you remember, they really struggled to get a home win for a long, long time. And like, they haven't been exceptional at home since, but they've been very, very good and very, very competitive in games. And they've picked up a lot more points now at home than obviously they did at the start of the season. I think that's what's making the difference. I think that's what's like getting them into where they are now, because their away form hasn't been too bad in a sense. But I think towards the start of the season, they really struggled with their home form. And the fact that they've got that sorted, you know, is a big, big thing for them in terms of if they want to try get up towards Europe. I still don't think they'll do it. I don't think they have the squad there to do it. But this game and this result was massive for them. Like, there's no question about it that they went into this game desperate for these points, because at the end of the day, the bigger the gap they can put between themselves and Dundalk and anyone underneath them, they'll jump at that if they can, because at the end of the day, they'll be looking to try finish in Europe if they can. Again, I do think it's just out of their reach now at the minute in terms of how poor their season started. But at the end of the day, I said it there, the last fixture we spoke about, anything is possible in this league. And the way Sligo are playing at the minute, who knows?
I do think, actually, to touch on that, the crowd actually in the last number of games really helped them, I think. I think that's a big thing for them.
Yeah, of course, Keith. And we seen it today. Like, Drogheda have been really struggling, and you could see the crowd, as much as they tried to get behind them when they could. I think it just makes games a little bit tighter, do you know what I mean? And it's the same with the likes of Derry. And even, like, I think even with Rovers last week against Longford, even the fact that we had 1,500 fans in, I think that put a bit of extra pressure on the Rovers boys, and it kind of brought more out of the Longford lads, do you know what I mean, in terms of what you probably would have given in comparison to an empty stadium. And there's no question about it, as you said, Keith, that's definitely helping Derry in a sense, because since that's happened, they've also picked up a lot more points as well. So there's plenty of factors going on, but I also think, Keith, what's going on inside the club is really, really important as well. Do you know what I mean? The fact they're getting players in, the fact that they're getting rid of the players that aren't really contributing, like, you know what I mean? And Like, I just think that they're sorting their house out, and it's really good to see that players are being put down on long-term contracts and management teams are in place. And it looks like they've got a really good plan going forward. And I think that's just leading to the positive results that we're seeing on the pitch at the moment.
Yeah, so United Park finished, I always forget heading the game park, so I'll get that in there. Drogheda 0, Rovers 1, a goal from Aaron Green. Cian, we were both at the game, but just from your point of view, you watched the game back as well. How did you see it overall?
Yeah, there wasn't too much in it. Again, that's the sign of a good team. I think Rovers, they scored again after half time, and it gives themselves that little bit of a bit of a kick then, just to keep going and kind of hold it out. I didn't think they were going to concede, so I always thought one goal would win the game, and it did. But Aaron Green would be delighted. He probably hasn't had the season he'd want. So to get a big goal like that after a big win in Europe, I did give out about Rovers. I thought that was by far the worst team they ever played in Europe, and to not have the tie over before you went over there. But they've done a really good job and got a 2-0 win. It was simple enough. It was easy for them. So that kind of helped them in this game. It's not like they played like Dundalk and Bowles where they were fighting and they were up against it and they were it took a lot out of them. I think obviously they had to travel to both games, but I don't think the game on Thursday took a lot out of Rovers. So I think today they were up for it. They were ready for it. You've seen the squad, very strong squad out again, and they fully deserved the 1-0 win. I think without doing too much to get it.
Yeah, I think so. As for Drogheda, I mean, Cian, do you think they can get? They're looking like they're getting dragged into this, are they? Are you worried for them?
No, I'm not worried for them. They have a bit of balls about them in that team. If it does come to it, I think they're probably the only team, them and probably Finn Harps, to have a bit of balls about them down there. That they can say, "Here, we're not losing this game. We're gonna dog it out. We're gonna grind it out," and I think they will. I think they kind of flattered themselves there at the little break. I know the break was earlier than the mid-season break was earlier than usual, but to see where they were sitting, nice and comfortable there. What was it, 4th or 5th, something like that? So
yeah, 4th and 5th, yeah, in around, yeah.
So
splitting a bit.
So it kind of flattered them a little bit, I think, and they kind of got the pressure. Then all of a sudden went from let's stay in the division to let's go for Europe. So I think you don't get an awful lot in this league of luck like that. Like, it has to run out sometime. If you're not a good side, I'm not saying Drogheda aren't a good side. They're an effective side. That's what I call Drogheda. They're a practical and effective side. They play to their strengths. But you don't win every game, or if you're Drogheda like that this year coming up and all. So I think they couldn't have asked for a better season. I know they're out of the cup. They'd be disappointed with that. But, they're still there or thereabouts in the league. They just need to get, I'd say, another 4 or 5 wins, and that's them sorted for the season. I can't see any other teams really catching up.
Yeah, Philip, I mean, Drogheda, to be fair, they found it difficult, I think, to get on the ball today, didn't they? Now, that is difficult when you play Shamrock Rovers, let's be honest. It's a very good midfield. And when they did, they found it difficult to break down Rovers, who have the best defensive record in the league. They're so difficult to break down, which is why they've been able to nick a lot of games 1-0 as well. But there wasn't an awful lot wrong with Drogheda's performance. It's just they came up against a Rovers side that are probably the best team in the league, let's be honest as well.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Keith, like, you made a very good point at the game today.
I always make very good points.
Oh, no, I don't know about that now, but I'll give you one today anyways. Yeah, I suppose you made a good point on the fact that Drogheda haven't really got too many creative midfielders, and I think that's really starting to show, in terms of how they went about with the substitutions, the subs that Clancy brought on. Just kind of, I look, because as I said, I had the hour and 20-minute drive home, so I really thought about the game on the way home. And Rovers were always comfortable in a sense. Obviously, I said to you at the time during the game that I was a bit nervous, and they did have a 5-minute spell where they kind of looked very, very dangerous. But after that, there was nothing else from them. And the likes of Corcoran coming on, Jeremy, and Darragh Markey came on as well. they did very little to affect the game. Do you know what I mean? And I think that it's really shown. And as I said, you made that point of needing a creative midfielder that can kind of put a couple of passes together and kind of tread the lines. Do you know what I mean? And I think that if they can do well to hold on to what they will do very well, if they can hold on to what they've got at the minute in terms of their squad Drogheda. But if they can get someone in now for next season that can pull a few passes together in the field, I personally think they could actually be competitive in Europe, you know. And like without that today, that they really did struggle to break down Rovers. They had very little in the game and no clear-cut chances, Keith, from what we can remember. I'm not sure if you remember anything clear, but I don't remember anything clear-cut for Drogheda. But look, Rovers, like, I don't know, I've run out of superlatives for them, do you know what I mean? Without being amazing today, they were well organised, done exactly what they needed to do. And to be honest with you, I think everyone was, myself going into the game, was a bit concerned the fact that we were playing away to Drogheda after a night in Europe on Thursday night and the travel back as well. I was kind of concerned about that because, as I said, we just got over the line against Longford last week, but they were excellent on the day, and I think they were full credit for what they got. You know what I mean? The 1-0 didn't flatter them at all. They dominated the ball, and the substitutions Bradley made as well were perfect. I think it just killed the game out as well. The likes of Gaffney coming on and Dylan Watson, Gary O'Neill just getting on the ball and just took the sting out of Drogheda. Do you know what I mean? Because as we said, they had that 5-minute period where they did look like they were going to try get something out of the game, and it looked like they might have. But the lads that came on made all the difference as well. So delighted, chuffed and over the moon with how we got the result. And I suppose now there's a big couple of games coming up next week that we're all waiting for. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I was actually just touching a point earlier, Phil, if you made about the creativity in midfield and that. You see, I think Drogheda looked to create mainly out wide, particularly with Kane and Brown, and Shamrock Rovers basically stopped that today. And once that happens, I think Drogheda do find it a bit difficult to create chances. Would you agree with that, Cian?
Yeah, you know, look, that's the sign of a good team, though. You need to mix it up a little bit. You know, you need to be able to mix it up, and you know there was times in the game where you seen the two fullbacks like inside the pitch, cutting inside and nearly playing the centre midfielders, and they did try and change it up. So I'll give them credit for that, because usually you see them and they're running up and down the line. They were actually doing the inverted runs. They were trying their best to just mix it up that little bit, and you know you need to have a couple of little ways that you can hold the opposition. And you know, I think Drogheda did try. I think they changed their game style a little bit 2 or 3 times in the game, just to try and can you get the better of them. And look, they didn't on the day, but there's no shame in losing 1-0 to Shamrock Rovers.
Absolutely not. Look, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Like the video, comment away, and hit your bell notification button and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, lads.